we should try to look at it. You should look at yourself as like a farmer, but what you're farming and cultivating is ideas and data. You think about it like, think about Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Think about a vast dirt field, and somebody planted the seed of Yu-Gi-Oh. When those cards grew out of that field, we're all taking a share of that crop.
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Nate, the Liberated Otaku, and on today's video, I have a very, very special guest for me personally, because this is someone who I followed for longer than I care to say right now, but it's been a while, and this man was kind enough to accept my invitation to join us today, and the person I want to talk about is Mr. YTDan himself. So, Dan, would you like to introduce yourself to my viewers, man?
Hey, appreciate it, Nate. Thanks for having me. I'm YTDan, legendary duelist, one of the first Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links content creators, and now pretty much Yu-Gi tuber content creator in general. I guess I never really introduced myself before, I guess, in a YouTube context. I guess kind of almost where do I start?
All right. Yeah.
I guess I just go recently. So my recent kind of things that I'm going on, like I kind of see myself as kind of like a Yu-Gi-Oh philosopher. I have like a different way of looking at the game, a different method of approaching the game. So I've been kind of working out over the last year my thoughts on that. I wrote a book about it. I created an AI to help people learn how to play the game, and pretty much I'm creating content on YouTube to supplement that, to show people, kind of how champions see the game, how I see the game, and how the game is a game of numbers. But if you know how the numbers work, you can make the numbers work for you. So it's
absolutely.
So I'm kind of like on a whole nother Yu-Gi-Oh journey. It's almost kind of like my season 4 almost. If we're talking about anime arcs or something. Yeah, I'm feeling like I'm doing a little Pegasus, a little Kaiba, a little bit of everything, honestly. But you know what though, in that last video that I made, that was analyzing Jesse Cotton's YCS deck, when I actually tried his ratio out, like I was like, dang, that's what it must feel like to be Kaiba. Because I swear I had Called by the Grave every hand going first, and it was kind of insane. Like the guy would be like, Ash, I'm like, Called, and I was like, yeah, so good. It felt so clean. Like, how clean Ash feels. I mean, clean Called by the Grave feels when it's like, okay, I've got full combo and an extender and a starter, and I've got this Called by the Grave. I feel like that's either setting you up for the W or the Nibiru, one or the other.
What's the Called by going to do against the Rock, brother?
Exactly. You end up with that rock bottom. It's just like, you know what?
Oh man.
So yeah, man. I'm honestly, man, I'm just enjoying the game, enjoying life, and I feel like at this stage we are in the most amazing era to play Yu-Gi-Oh right now. That's why I'll tell you why this is. You told me that you started watching me long ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Longer ago, I started playing this game. Most people that are playing this game are like me. They're seasoned professionals creeping on 40. That means that a lot of these people have unique skill sets, unique abilities, unique jobs. Like people in my comment section surprise me all the time with what they do. Like someone mentioned they were some sort of like, not a mercenary pilot, but not a commercial pilot, but some sort of pilot of fighter jets. I don't like, but he mentioned it in the comments. And like there's like engineers and all kinds of stuff, and in my experience I've met these people and talked to these kind of people. So in my mind I'm like, if from my perspective I was an IT recruiter and I created an AI, and Decade I think was a medical devices person or something like that.
Something in that
I think he was something like that, a medical devices person, and then he created honestly like one of the best Yu-Gi-Oh trading card game databases. So again, we are at this unique time where these professionals playing the game, and not teenagers or not just kids, people with skills and money and time and passion and ambition.
They can actually build stuff.
Yeah, there's even that one, I think he's a German fellow. I can't remember. Or Austrian. I can't remember. It's a foreign language. I can't remember. But
Okay.
he created the augmented reality, like place the card down and it come off the field last year.
Please.
Did you see that?
Oh yeah.
Last year. So I mean, it's going crazy. This is the best time to play Yu-Gi-Oh. I don't see why people are talking about I hate it. Like, you know, I get that it's tough, but I think it's tough because what I found out from my corporate experience is that we can all fall to a subset of ideas, and we can get our minds and our actions and our thoughts aligned with these ideas, and then we won't let anything new in. We'll protect these ideas by trying to tear down someone trying to bring something new. And I didn't realize that that was like human nature. And because I realized that was human nature, I just decided to keep bringing new things. Because at first when I tried to bring new things, people just were like, no, this is wrong, this is bad, and not how you do it. And honestly, from the corporate perspective, you kind of just want to get in line, because that's kind of been my experience over the last 10 years. Like, you know, you think about how much time you spend in a day, and I spent like 24 hours in a day. I spend like, I don't know, 18 hours thinking about and working. If that's the case, you know, I kind of spilled over into my Yu-Gi-Oh! That same thought. They were like, play Ash, play Max, play this, play that. Right. And then I fell right into that. But then I realized, I was like, wait a minute, I'm a rogue duelist. Let me get back to that. And then I started to recontextualize things and I started to write a lot of stuff down. And that's how I ended up writing the book, because I got really confused about the normal summon. And I found out that like the normal summon is like, in terms of gaming mechanics in Yu-Gi-Oh, it's like the thing that makes Yu-Gi-Oh, the normal summon. When I started to do more research into that, it was fascinating, and I had all this information. And then I was like, I gotta put this into context, because what happened was I was ashamed to play Master Duel, because Duel Links had just came out. You know, Duel Links was my game. You know, we were playing Duel Links. We were all just in Duel Links, and I felt like that was like living a live, amazing anime journey. We were all going on this crazy journey together, because you could have been a UPS worker, you could have been, I don't know, a fish herder, I don't know, whatever. You could have been any kind of job. Then you reach in your phone and you pull out Duel Links.
Now you're duelist.
And now you're Seto Kaiba, you know? Now you're My Valentine. Now you're whoever. And then, and not only was I Seto Kaiba, but I was Seto Kaiba with the hazy flame.
The hazy beast.
That was unique. That's like Elseworld Kaiba. That's like Mokuba went back in time and stepped on a frog. Now Kaiba has 3 hazy beasts instead of 3 blue eyes white dragons. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how we got Duke Frog right there.
Oh Lord.
But I'm saying, like, you know, so we were living that story. And I never forget the time I went to T-Mobile to get my phone fixed. And this guy was playing Duel Links. This is so funny. This is so crazy. This guy was playing Duel Links. It's like a TV commercial. This guy's playing Duel Links in the corner. Okay. And I noticed he's playing Duel Links. And I went over there to ask him about it. And it was kind of like Pokemon, like old school Pokemon. So, and I was the guy, did you just touch me? Like, kind of thing. I literally saw he was playing Duel Links, and I was like, and just walked over to him, and I was like, yap, 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 and we started dueling. Now, what was funny is, before we dueled, I asked him, do you play this game a lot? He said, I love this game, play it every day. I like, really? He said, yeah. I like, cool. I like, well, do you watch YouTube videos? He like, hell no. Nah. That shit cringe. I like, you don't watch YouTube? He said he didn't watch YouTube, period. Not he didn't watch Duel Links. He didn't watch YouTube, period. This is a long time ago. So I'm like, play Duel Links. I was like, well, you mind playing? And then he said, yeah, why not? Like, he was so bored with it. It was so funny. I was so excited and was trying not to be excited. It's almost like when you walk up to a girl and you're trying to talk to her. And she's super attractive, and you know she's the hottest chick you've ever seen, but you know she doesn't know that. But you're going up to her and you're like, "Hey, how's it going?" So I'm looking at this guy like, I really want this duel. I don't want him to say no. This is the first time I've ever seen a wild Duel Links duelist. He's again so bored with it, so casual, so nonchalant, and then we start playing. and I'm playing with the hazies, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm about to cook him with these hazies. I'm about to beat him on the second turn. He's never gonna forget this, and I'm gonna walk away like a fucking legend. And I draw, I bricked, and he's beating me to death with some little like 200 attack mods. Like, he's killing me. I was in my head, I'm screaming, but in person, I'm like, this is fine. But eventually, I drew a special summon and was able to do the hazy combo. But it was so embarrassing because I honestly was like, yeah, I can't wait to cook this guy. And I was like, I am being cooked. And what made it worse though, I was waiting for somebody's phone. It must have been my wife's phone because my phone obviously was there. But I was waiting for something in the T-Mobile. So I realized that I couldn't just leave anyway in the duel. And I was like, you fool. Like, literally, it was like, you fool. You couldn't leave if you won anyway. If you lose, you're going to have to sit in that L. Sit in that L until your phone is fixed. Yeah, man. So Duel Links was a time, man. That was a whole little era, man. But, when Duel Links was over and Master Duel came out, I was ready to play it. And I had been playing Legacy of the Duelist and some of those other simulators, but I felt like I wasn't good. You know what I mean when I say good? Like Yu-Gi-Oh players, you go somewhere and you're like, that guy's good.
Yeah.
If you have to ask someone, am I good? You're probably not good. I was feeling in my soul that I was not good. I just was feeling I was not good. And when I would play the game, like, you know how you get a dub sometimes, you're like, yeah, it feel real good. But then you play that one guy that makes you feel like you just don't even know what you're doing. Like, you're playing this guy and it's like, actually, this is the great analogy. I went to the library and it was a foreign books section right next to the fiction section, but it kind of blended and I didn't notice. So I'm walking through the fiction and out of nowhere, all the books are foreign. And it was like I got transported into another universe, because if you think about it, as you're reading each book, you're hearing the titles in your mind. Now I'm in this aisle and this whole aisle is silent to me. All the voices are silent. I can't hear anything because I can't interpret any other words. That's what it's like when you're playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And your opponent's going off with their branded fusion combo, and this is your first time ever seeing it. You're just like, how is he summoning like 12 fusions? He just played one spell. Like, I thought you needed polymerization for this. I learned from my experience from going from Duel Links to Master Duel that Yu-Gi-Oh! Has a special language, and the special language and the interpretation of that language determines the type of duelist that you will be. And right now, there's no language out there. There's just a lot of technical stuff out there. So imagine if you were to be a software engineer and everybody was just telling you the correct way to code, but nobody was breaking down why we code this way. You know what I'm saying? So my channel is about breaking down why we duel this way, why the cards are like this, why Konami made this choice. Because in order for me to wrap my mind around the game and get back into it, I needed to figure that out. That's how I'm able to play a deck that, like, technically, Konami has walked away and said, these guys don't need any more power. Not because they're so great, but because they just don't care anymore. But then I look at it and go, oh, look at this. If this and that and this, according to the game mechanics, it should work. And so I make my decks towards the mechanics rather than making it towards kind of how I feel or towards somebody's idea. Because if you're aligned with the mechanics of the game, the natural flow of the game, then you're always going to be able to win. That's where that whole concept of never missing from Duel Links came from. Because we were all frustrated with the hazy cards because we would summon Hazy Sphinx. All we need is 19 more for game monster card spell card. So then 10 years later, I'm over here, hey guys, I defeated probability with artificial intelligence I created by stealing the technology from Microsoft and OpenAI. And then they're like, what? Is that the same guy that was playing Hazy like 10 years ago?
Is that guy from that Duel Links movie?
Isn't that dude from the Duel Links movie? Like that's what I'm saying. That's crazy. Like it's crazy when I sit back and look at it. So I would imagine if someone on YouTube would just to turn on their YouTube and come to my YouTube channel, I think they'd be delighted, because I personally, when I decide to come back, my goal is to become the YouTube channel. When someone finds it, they go, holy shit, this is exactly what I've been looking for. And just lock in and check out all this interesting stuff. Because I find channels like that, like, it's tons of channels on there you just kind of watch. There's tons of channels that you kind of see But then there's a few channels that you're like, I gotta see what this guy is doing, because this guy's always doing something, like, you know, and whatever that something is something that interests us, like, you know, immensely. Like it's something about YouTube and the audience over these last 10 years I've learned. I feel like they're more passionate than any other audience group. Like, you know, you might have Twitter, they're very reactionary, you know, like you do something, they say something, or they buy it or whatever. Then you got Instagram, you know, you're just kind of showing off pictures, so it's a different kind of interaction. But YouTube's very personal. You can't hide a lot in a video, you know.
No,
like it's just so subtle. And as I've been learning more about AI and the what would I say, the challenges of making it more human, right? If that makes sense. It makes so I'm seeing the correlation between a video platform and how real people are, and then you got these cold machines trying to become real. And then on this video platform, I'm like getting so many perspectives, because as I begin to express more of my knowledge of the game and more of the deeper sides of the game, more people who have these thoughts about the game, who have nowhere to talk about it, are chatting about it in my comments, which is also a feedback loop giving me more. So it's kind of very much, you know, kind of like the AI stuff, you know. It's you know, good input in, good input out kind of stuff. You know, as we were talking about before the stream started, you know, if you get into that negative loop and you getting that bad in, before you know it, you know, your results are going to be bad. You might have the best intentions, but you know, your results are just off.
That's why I've been, honestly, you actually inspired me to I'm doing it now, to make my own AI with ChatGPT and stuff like that. So I have an AI for my brand and what I'm working with, and it's just like,
Is it, you mean like for your personal or for the publish?
For me personally.
Oh yeah. Oh, those are great.
Yeah. I'm just in there, dude. I'm like, hey, I have an idea. What do you think about this? Well, I think we can improve it this way. Okay, take some suggestions. All right, this is what I got. Yeah, so we can. Oh, dude, it's
or the way I like to use it sometimes, and I really use it like Tony Stark and Iron Man. Like, not even lying to you. Like, I'm talking on it with the voice, with the earpiece, and I like to give it a matrix of ideas. I like to surround it with a concept, and then say, this is where I'm trying to go with the concept. And then sometimes it can, because the reason why I do that is so it can tell me right or wrong. Because let's say I'm trying to make boiled water, right?
Right.
And I'm over here like, AI, I want to make some boiled water, but all I got around is this towel, these speakers, and a light. I'm trying to get this boiled water. I'm so thirsty, and it's got to be hot. Like, the AI is going to be like, you know what I'm saying? I don't think you can do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So because, you know, in that instance, that was so wrong, right? Something where you're kind of like, you know how you're almost on the right track? Like, you're trying to make a cake from scratch, but you haven't figured out you needed, I don't know, you didn't figure out you needed eggs. You didn't figure out the binder part, you know? So you're like, I got all this stuff coming together, but my cake is coming out flabby. What's going on? My cake is coming out crumbly. What's happening? Then it's like, oh, did you remember the binder? We use eggs, we use this, we use that to do binders. Do you have any of those? Then it's like, okay, you know, if you're using it as a magic answers divination box, it's not going to work.
Right.
But if you're using it as an extension of yourself, amazing. It's amazing.
Fantastic.
Yes. Better than any that I've used in the past. I would say back in the day, I was the GPT back when I first started my career. So basically, if you think about it, like not you boomers, the actual boomers didn't leave the workforce because of 2008 financial crisis. They had to stick in there, right? You know, a lot of those guys stayed. So the millennials trying to get in the workforce, it was kind of hard to get in there because obviously the seats are taken. But the reason why they needed the millennials and these younger guys is because they could do fancy things like read Microsoft Excel and utilize macros. and those and those luxurious techniques at the time, and that was the way in. So basically, the boss is like, report not working, need number, Dan give number, and I'm like, here number, you get raised. That was my life for like 10 years, man.
Oh,
But just take number, replace it with candidate, task, whatever,
yeah.
whatever. But it was always me under someone who just didn't understand enough,
Right.
and they needed me to fill the gap. So now I have this little tool in my pocket, can fill the gap in just about anything. But then I took the entire powers that it has and wrapped it around a Yu-Gi-Oh card, and now it's crazy and it can only think about Yu-Gi-Oh. Actually, there is a card I found that I'm gonna make a deck on, and it's gonna be an AI deck. It's gonna be an AI deck. The card is called Anti-Human Intelligence Messiah. That's its name.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yes. It's a pendulum monster. It's an obscure pendulum monster that I'm like, this is the perfect card to build an AI domination deck.
You find the most obscure cards. Like
the AI told me, honestly. I'm not even gonna lie. The AI, like, I'll get with the AI and I'll be like, I'm trying to figure out how to extend off of this combo. I'm looking for fire monsters that are level 4 that have an effect when they're normal summon. And it's like, you hear a bunch of guys that do something when they're normal summon. And then you're just reading through, it's like, I can't use any of that. But you did read the card. And after I read that anti-human messiah thing, it's been in my brain rent free. It's just
just the name alone, like
like whoever sat down and was like, let me hook this one up, and and the artist, and Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't have any credits for the artist too. I kind of want to know who like dreamed that one up. That's kind of cool.
Where did you just first discover your passion for the game itself? Because Yu-Gi-Oh's been around for minute.
Yeah, man. To be fair, it is a whole bunch of a story. I feel like it's kind of starting to fade together, but primarily back in the day, I'll say, since I reflected on it, I grew up Detroit, Michigan, so my upbringing was a little tough, to say the least. And I needed an escape from the tough areas. And I was trying to find a mental escape. And because that's kind of because everyone doesn't live like that, but some people do live in their head. Like some people do live in their minds, and I was one of those people that lived in my mind. But I realized I wasn't just my mind, but I realized that my mind and my body was in peril. I also got to do something to keep myself stimulated, and not that I gave it this deep amount of thought back then, but it's kind of like you just do it, Right. And basically what happened was I found the game on Kids WV, like a lot of people. And I'm watching it, and the first time I watched it just like everybody first episode. My grandpa's deck has no pathetic cards, but it does contain. I was like, well, what does it contain? Like literally, I'm not even gonna lie, it was like back in the day, TV on the floor kind of thing. Like, I was on the floor, like at the TV kind of thing, like hugging the TV, like like when Yugi was hugging TV, shaking it, going, "Grandpa." That's how I was watching it back then, because we had an old wood TV. This is old school TVs. No, it's on the floor, really heavy, terrible TV.
Big back TV.
Big back TV with the little screw in, with the 2 little screws on the back. You put the wire antenna on. But I was watching it. CRT, I think it's called. But I was watching Yu-Gi-Oh on that, and Grandpa's deck doesn't have the cards, and he blows Kaiba away. And I swear this happened. I go, how did he do that? And I heard he say, if you really want to know, open your mind. I was like, what? He's destroying Kaiba, and I'm all surprised. It felt like he attacked me. And then I remember seeing that. My mind was blown. Went to Media Play. I don't know if you know that. Media Play. And I was like, do you guys have any Yu-Gi-Oh cards? And I got roasted. You know how black when they back in the 90s, when you were a black nerd, you were basically Urkel, and I got roasted. That man roasted me so bad, but I didn't care. Because you know why I didn't care? Because I looked down and I saw first edition Blue Eyes White Dragon starter pack, $9.99, and I was like, mother, please, I'll never ask for anything, mother, please, because I had no money. And after a thorough round of begging, she got me those cards, and that's how it all started. And then I was the guy who dueled the TV. You know, I was the guy who had the rarest stuff. I was the guy who was like, you know, constantly trying to improve. But I remember when the season ended of the first season Yu-Gi-Oh! And Yugi defeats Pegasus, and Pegasus was using Thousand Eyes Restrict and Relinquish. Yep. Just that week before, I opened a Magic Ruler pack and got it relinquished, and I had no idea what it did. I didn't even know what ritual monsters were, so I was so confused when kind of like I was telling you about the library thing. It's just like I just didn't understand like what this card was trying to say. Like I was like, what is it even? Like what? Like why is it even blue? Like what is this? Like I was so confused. But then I saw that episode, and this my friend down the street had Black Illusion Ritual. He had just the spell. I didn't have a spell. He came to my house just to say, I'll never trade you that card. And he just came to my house after the episode to tell me he never trade me. He left. He's like, I'll never let you get that powerful. But now I think about it, like back in the day, that's kind of like what, you know, America and other countries do. You know, they be like, I'll never let you get that powerful. He's trying to get the ritual from me. So I thought that was pretty funny. And you know, and all that just to say, I think I was just looking for some family, and I was looking for a place where I could be accepted. And then I found that place through Yu-Gi-Oh! And then, you know, long story short, I just never let it go. And if anyone tried to disparage me or anyone tried to say that it wasn't something I should be doing, I didn't talk to them. Like back in the day when girls used to come over and visit me at my apartment, and I would leave my Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards out, because if you get to yapping about that, then you can go. And that's how I was back in the day. Like, that was the true test. Like, are you gonna be yapping about these cards? Because if his cards are you, it's gonna be the cards, man. Like, so because it was always the cards, I would just leave them out so that we would never have to worry about that down the road. Like we get at this right now.
So I'm guessing your wife obviously passed the test, huh? Did she? She beat you in the duel?
Actually, you know, okay, I put it like this. She actually knows how to play. She plays duel. She can play Duel Links, but she's not a big fan. What she was a fan of was Card Fight Vanguard, because she used to get wins off of that off of me. Because I don't let people get the dub. I didn't come from an environment where people let me get the dub. You know, I might let you finish your combo so that you feel accomplished. But if I can get the dub, I'm gonna get the dub. You know what I'm saying? Because you gotta know, because Yu-Gi-Oh! Isn't the type of game where you let somebody win. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the type of game where you gotta understand why you lost. So because of that, you know, we went a little easier on Vanguard, because Vanguard is more, oh, you attacked me. Well, I guess I gotta take the top 2 cards off of my deck. The prize? What do they do? Draw 3 more?
Oh no.
Vanguard could escalate very quickly, and my wife loved that game. So, you know, so basically it could be like she's losing, and then she actually played Pokemon competitively. We went to the Pokemon regionals. She was playing Blastoise Turtle Beach. Well, during the Blastoise Turtle Beach metagame, and the reason you probably wouldn't know about that, it's not relevant. The only reason I mention that is because Turtle Beach was like a $130 card at the time.
Oh wow.
And my wife didn't have any of those. She had this card called Pokemon Center, and you know, I'm a rogue duelist, and we weren't spending $130 on those cards because we were very casual. But I told her how to use Pokemon Center instead of using the Turtle Beach, so when she came up against a mirror match, she could throw them off with the Pokemon Center. So she come up with her first match, and this was tier 1 meta. She was technically playing a tier 1 deck, technically. And the first match, the dude's like, Blast Squirtle, Wartortle, Blastoise, Turtle Beach, pass. You can't beat me. She's like, Pokemon Center. He's like, I won. So I don't know how many other people's wives play card games, but my wife did get a big dub in the region with a rogue strategy. Now come on now, not in Yu-Gi-Oh! Though, but in a second card game. So that's what I'm saying. That's how the skills, you know, that's transferable, man.
That is transferable. So she's married to the rogue duelist, so she needs at least one. At least one rogue dub.
Right, you got to get in there at some point, man. But yeah, I wasn't so lucky with my rogue deck. I did get some. I didn't get a good like win rate that particular time, but I think I was playing like some sort of weird deck. I don't know. I was playing something silly. I was trying to play like a Pokemon OTK. I thought that would have been pretty funny if I go to the Pokemon regionals and it's like Yu-Gi-Oh! Player OTK's Pokemon. But I honestly, that's the only reason I did it, is because I thought the headline would be funny. Like Yu-Gi-Oh! Player OTK and Pokemon players. Like what are your comments? And I would tell them I never miss. Like that was in my head, the fantasy I was building up. I like when they ask me, I'm just gonna say I never miss and walk away. So I just have a love for card games, man. I just love that. I think it's for me, it's the sitting down, the community, the passion, there's a lot of stuff you can just pick up and do, but a card game kind of takes commitment. Especially when it was physical, but now it's digital. But I feel like the online community is just as dogmatic, so it's dogmatic and passionate. So
and honestly, just talking about the passion, dude, that's one of the things that made me subscribe, and why I'm still subscribed, because it's like, this man just loves this game. Like, this is not an act. It's not. Well, I mean, I know you're trying to transition to make it like a job for you right now, but it's like, he's on here, sending people to the shadow realm, or when he gets into the shadow realm, it's just you're always entertaining, man. I'm just like, yeah.
I really feel like back in the day there was an inauthentic kind of YouTube. I feel like the world is getting so kind of dark and gloomy that we're kind of getting into this era of authenticity, as the YouTube, I don't know what you call them people, YouTube savants call it. They call it the era of authenticity. And I feel like that's kind of like my era. Like, I was authentic back then, but it was more profitable to be fake back then. And to be fair, I didn't even know what to be fake in per se, because I was all in already. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the weird thing about it. Like, I feel like that's one thing I learned. Like, someone who engineers the process or the fandom for a purpose might be able to look at something and be the perfect kind of fake to get a lot of views. But for somebody like myself, it was hard to just kind of objectively look at it and say, oh, if I do this, the Yu-Gi-Oh community will react like that and it will give X. Like, I just never could look at it like that. I would look at it and see these people are suffering under the tyranny of Ash Blossom. It must be a way to defeat it. That's how I think about it. And then I go out there and look and go, oh my God, it's been set into the core of the game mechanics for Ash Blossom to always stop everything. Is Ash Blossom the first power creep? The answer is yes. Ash Blossom sets a level and a tier for all decks. If Ash can stop you, then you need to have more than just one strategy. If you only got one strategy and Ash can stop you, guess where you are? Low tier. And if you understand that changes how you look at the game. Now you're not looking at Ash as the bane of your existence. You look at it as a necessary evil.
Yeah, it's sad because I'm an avid Evil Eye player, and it's just like, all right, normal summon Cersei or Ash. Well, cry.
That's what I learned right there. See, the whole idea of a starter and extender, I feel like that's disingenuous. You shouldn't call things the extender. It should just be other starters. If the Snake Eye deck is only starters, cards that say if this card is normal summon or special summon. If that's the case, that means there is a spell card or a monster effect that can special summon it from the deck or the graveyard. That's a free +2. That's Pot of Greed. So if you can invoke Pot of Greed in your gameplay, I think you're gonna win, man. So how do you get around that on Evil Eye? You need to play something that's gonna bait Ash. I'm gonna activate the Bell Stars effect, search my deck, and you're gonna be like, oh shit, better Ash that. All right, normal summon. Oh shit. And then you go off. And that's the difference in gameplay. Because the first level, you might be thinking, all right, a normal summon is over, damn, and there's nothing else for this archetype, and damn, I guess there's no options. And then you go online, there's no options for Snake Eye. There's no options for Evil Eye. There's no options. Throw it in the garbage and spend $1,000 on the next best deck, and then you're like, well, fuck.
I got bills.
But instead of trying to look at it objectively and find a solution, you just took the easy answer because you use YouTube as a magic divination machine rather than try to use it as an extension of yourself to try to apply certain things to yourself so you can grow yourself and grow your knowledge. And that's how you get better at the game. That's the difference between like somebody like a Jesse Cotton and some random scrub. Like Jesse Cotton's like, I'm gonna make sure that I can have a deck full of starters, normal or special, and a bunch of spells that can summon them from anywhere. And as long as I can get any two on the field, I'm straight. And then if your opponent, just think it's simple math. If your opponent thinks that 3 hand traps will stop you, and they're running their deck at a maximum to maybe receive that on first turn, count on your opponent to have that. Let's say your opponent has none, then they lose. The only way they beat you is if they got 3. It's highly improbable that they won't have that. So if I open my deck and I've got 4 ways into my 1-card combo, I don't think you're gonna get me, man. So it's just math. That's all it is.
Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh is a game of numbers, man. It's just because I remember when your comeback art on like during, what was it? I think it was Cyber Dragon Week. I was like, and because it was like over an hour long video. Like, yo, Dan's been cooking for real, and I sat there and listened to it while I was working and doing other stuff, and just your breakdown of it. It's like, this is they're using the card as a resource, right? Like Cyber Dragon, the name is a resource, and I was sitting there, I stopped working, I'm like, and I was pondering, like, he's kind of spitting right here, and that has helped me change not only how I think about just Yu-Gi-Oh, just like life in general. It was like, okay, how can I use more out of what I have? It's just, I don't know, man. I never would have thought, you would have told me like 2 or 3 years ago I would get a lot of life advice and knowledge from a Yu-Gi tuber. Like, what are you talking about? It's a card game. But
yeah, man. I mean, honestly, that's kind of how I see it, right? Where I came up playing Yu-Gi-Oh, I kind of came up playing, if you think about it, what was the background of Yu-Gi-Oh? Background of Yu-Gi-Oh technically was academia. I played it at school. I played it in the college basement. So think about that. Like, you're kind of encircling yourself around people trying to do something with themselves. Even if you aren't directly trying to improve yourself in those moments, the conversations in between the duels, in between the phases, how's work going, whatever, like, that's the type of stuff that was really building me up that I took for granted back in the day. You don't get that on Master Duel, obviously, because it's online. In the day, those interactions, I remember when I played locals back then, there's this guy, he was the first older person I ever saw playing Yu-Gi-Oh. He was like maybe like 50 something, like he was like an older guy. And that was back when I first played Gladiator Beast. I mean, he was a lawyer, and this is the Gladiator Beast first came out, and I had first built the deck, and I think I paired up against him in a tournament, and I think I ended up beating him like a Sector Test Tiger combo, like back before Ash and all that other stuff. So it was crazy. Obviously, he looked at me and he said something. The way he looked at me and was like, "That was so good." He seemed to be so satisfied to witness it. And when he was like that, I saw this older person. I was like, man, I want to be like this guy when I'm growing up. I want to be the guy that's like appreciating it. I want to right there looking like, damn, that's what I call a combo. Like, you know what I'm saying? That shit was crazy. So like those kind of little moments, man, like those moments really encouraged me to just deepened my passions. And one day on YouTube, I uploaded a Yu-Gi-Oh video, the Duel Links video, and it just took off. And then it was like, I didn't know what people wanted. At first, it was in the time where YouTube was Wild West. So I thought they were kind of looking for more people. I would say, as just a current reference, your iShow Speeds. Yeah, they were looking for more people like that, just off the wall, going nuts, And I'm thinking like, well, I was kind of trying to do that. I felt like that was the only thing I could kayfabe, honestly. I was like that, because the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff is too deeply ingrained. Like you think I'm acting this dark shadow magic voice? I've been using this dark shadow magic voice for 20 years. Like you fool. You fool. I've been saying you fool for 20 years. Like, you don't understand. This is not a YouTube thing I made up. Like, so I'm saying, like, so for me, like, I was just saying, it was a lot. It was hard to find something that I could kind of, because they would say, just take whatever you do and take it to 11. I said, I already do Yu-Gi-Oh on 12. So how am I going to do that?
Hey, you already
I literally was confused. I was just like, YouTube, what am I supposed to do? And then on top of that, I also remember too, when I came up, there was a big controversy about Yu-Gi tubers not being good at the game. And that was a big argument. Yeah. And that was something in my mind. I was like, I gotta be good. I was like, I can't be yapping, going bananas, and then I'm trash. I gotta go bananas and be good. Because if I'm yapping, going bananas, and I'm good, then that makes him go like, damn, he's actually the fool. Like the fool is the smart guy. The fool gets the message before the king. Like, I don't know if you ever seen that painting. I think it's called The Fool, where the fool is holding a letter in his hand, depressed on the throne, while the king and everybody's partying in the other room. Because he got a message saying that the opposing army is about to come tax that ass tonight. But he happened to be the first one to read the letter. Because not only can he read, but he's looking for the messages. You know, he's dancing to keep everybody straight, but he's actually down to earth on what's going on. So, you know, I find myself in this niche. And I thought it was a little, what I call it, pretentious to call myself a Yu-Gi-Oh philosopher, to even think about myself like that. But then again, I realized, well, wait a minute, I'm having this judgment and this doubt about myself. That's probably means that I'm on the right track in the first place. And then the second thing, that's kind of how all philosophers are. They're like, I have these ideas, I have these concepts, I want to present them, but maybe they always do that. And then some dude 900 years later reads the diary like, oh, he never wanted to tell us water was wet. Crazy, he was wrong about that shit. But I mean, he should have definitely spoke up. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna be the dude that somebody in 900 years got to try to figure me out. You just know. Just check out my book, check out my video. You'll know. Like, you know, the thought crossed my mind under this year of unemployment. You know, I was like, well, shit. If I'm busting my ass trying to find a job, right? And I'm spending 100% of my time stressing out and worrying and all that shit. And I'm not getting no reply. But I technically got an audience of 30,000 people that's looking for me to do something. And I say, what do you want me to do? They say, something. I'm like, well, damn, I might as well do something because I was damn sure doing nothing applying to these jobs. So that's how I got to the point where I was like, let me just turn this shit all the way up, because the point where I gotta figure it out because I can't play it. You know, I can't activate resume. I can't U2. I've been trying to activate W2, but it won't work.
They keep
Genzo's on the field. W2, please. You fool. World Decree's been up this entire time. No. Activate unemployment from my hand. Activate Imperial Order. But you have World Decree on the field. Shut the fuck up. It's a spell card I'm activating from my hand right now in response to the Imperial Order.
Oh my god.
So that's kind of how it feels like life has been hitting your boy right now. You know, you apply and then they're like, you fool, you've applied to this job and you've activated my trap. It's called Circle Bin. It allows me to take your resume and place it right into the bin. Simple in its application, but extremely effective. Hiring manager will never see this. See, this is what I'm saying. I'm talking to my boss, and my brain is telling me like they're gonna use layoff. We're finished. We don't have any response. Somebody respond quick. Like, it's just kind of crazy. It's just like so much. Like, you know, like when you just look at things, like we were talking before about resources, it's like nothing is what it is. Everything serves multiple purposes, and the way you know this for sure and can confirm this is because you aren't the same person to two different people, not ever at the same time. Like, I just met you first time, Nate. Great meeting you for the first time. But when you turn off the stream and go talk to whoever you talk to, you're gonna be Nate for whoever you've been Nate for however long you've been Nate to that person. And that person's relationship and our relationship, totally different.
Absolutely.
So when I started learning about stuff like that and start understanding that, it helped me to understand my YouTube audience better, because I'm trying to think, like, is it 30,000 guys just like me? Or is it 30,000 guys waiting for me to slip on the banana peel? Like, what's going on here? Like, why are they here? And it's like YouTube finally started getting their algorithm together, and they have enough, honestly, they have enough machine learning AIs out there so that they can just interpret what's going on now. So now I kind of know what the audience wants. But before, it was just 10,000 people screaming at me, upload a video, make a live stream. And then you just don't know like what it is that they want. And then on top of that, I felt like I wasn't just trying to make stuff for YouTube. I was trying to make it for the Yu-Gi-Oh community. And it always felt separate from YouTube, because I feel like in a way, Yu-Gi-Tubers, Yu-Gi-Oh landed on YouTube. We were already a community. We were pilgrims, you know, or I guess we were refugees looking for a platform. You know, we came from the ancient lands of Pojo and in other forms, you know what I'm saying? And we all made it to YouTube. And then we all pitched our tents at this home in YouTube. But then now in this home in YouTube, I feel like it's such a weird metaverse where these ideas come together and you get this similar think. like the similar way people understand and believe things. And I found that easy to subvert once I understood the game, because when you understand the game and then you understand this thought process of average people, then you get online, you kind of expect a certain type of gameplay, and you get it every single time. Especially like, for example, someone popular like the K uploads a video and it's a good deck and it's got a great combo and it's consistent. Doesn't matter where it came from, but he uploaded it and it was viral for him that day. You get on ladder, you're gonna see a couple of them mofos. Like, you know, you get on ladder. Did you watch the video today? Kind of the incentive. And it's like, and I was like, I don't think I can be that guy. Like, I'm working this 18-hour job, kind of. How can I breathe it and live it? You know, I can't. So I can't compete with him in that way. And then technically, it's like, are you competing with him? Like, technically, we're not competing, because technically on YouTube, that's not how it works.
Right.
But in a way, you are competing. If someone has to make a decision, if there's 2 videos about Snake Eye Ash and how good it is, and then there's Decade's video, and then there's my video, and first the algorithm makes a choice on who you're gonna watch. Then if you happen to see both thumbnails, then you make a choice. Then after you watched it and got disgusted and Decade taught you, hey, normal summon Ash win game, you're kind of don't want to watch Dan tell me that too. Then you don't watch it. Like, you know. But the one thing I never get though, why does everyone watch the band videos? Why does everyone watch like the other kind of videos, you know, that come through on a ritual like every single month? Oh, it's banned. Oh, it's bad. Oh, Maxi. I mean, how many times you gonna say Maxi is broken? Like, you say, I hate Maxi, unless you're screaming at the screen on live saying you hate Maxi. I don't want to see another damn video about Maxi unless it's technical as fuck. You better tell me, like, I count 12 roaches in this screen, and each roach connects with the zodiac, and because so, like, you know, I'm like, all right, well, fuck it then, man. You did it. You get the Maxi video, man.
And now we got the Mel Charmy, whatever.
That Mo Charmy thing. And you know what? I fired up the old camera to yap about that, and I just went to turn this shit off. I did. I turned it right off, just like Maxi. Now what would be wild if they went ahead and let Ash and Mo Charmy thing be live in like the same format. Now that'd be wild. That'd be irritating. God. Like if they did that in Master Duel, they probably would do that for 1 week just to jump scare us or something.
Oh, dust off the monarchs, bro. I'm like, all right. Everybody getting treated. See it.
Right. Nah, I'm just gonna play back row tilt.
I can't go there.
I feel like there's a lot of gentleman's agreement decks. Back row tilt. What's another gentleman's agreement? Mystic Mind was also another gentleman's agreement. And then when people break it, it's just like, not you, motherfucker, you son of a bitch. I can't. So honestly, I was gonna top with Gladiator Beast. I was gonna have my first top with Gladiator Beast, and I lost the Mystic Mind. Like, you know, it's one thing to play Master Duel and you do your camera stuff, but you're playing in person, and this guy literally was dead to rights, about to lose. Pulled out of his ass that trap card, that Crystal Beast trap card.
Oh yeah,
to let you do this. And Mystic Mind, and just time in the round. And then when the time was over, I lost. So, you know, losing with your hands tied behind your back as your opponent does a little jig in front of you definitely is enraging.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So Yu-Gi-Oh! In person has a whole nother culture that I want to get into and experience. But if I was to actually make like a judgment on, like, if I had to pick a lane, like if I was going to Worlds and I had to pick a lane for quote unquote a championship contending, I think Master Duel is a superior format, only because it not only does it have all the like advanced stuff, like, you know, and helps you make sure you don't leave anything on the table, so to speak, especially if you're a newer player. But I think just because it's more accessible and it's official, you know, I just like it better, because when I had to play the trading card game like way back in the day, it just waiting for those official Yu-Gi-Oh times just sucked. It's kind of like waiting for 8 o'clock prime time to watch The Simpsons. Like nobody, you know, everything's on demand these days or live. So, you know, in that way, the card game camaraderie only really works with people that you really love and trust and care about. Like, you know, and I don't have that group of personal people that I wouldn't mind sitting in a cold, dank, or really warm awkwardly warm basement talking about nothing. I
Yeah.
mean, nothing,
Nothing.
and just shuffling cards for 10 hours.
Yeah.
And it feels like it's been none. Like, like I haven't done anything like that in God knows how long. Like, if that was the last time I do it for a while, or I probably would have that cheers moment, like, when they turn around and hit the light, like some shit like that. Because I honestly, like, I don't know, like when they talk about like they say the boys or something like that, like I don't know what other people did with the boys, but I'm like damn, like I couldn't imagine doing nothing else, man. Like we used to get together, play Yu-Gi-Oh all day long, talk about Yu-Gi-Oh all night long, then get up in the morning, check in if we was all gonna get together to play some Yu-Gi-Oh. Like, come on, man. That was the life, bro.
One final question for you to ponder over, man. So what's next for good old YTDan in the realm of everything?
Honestly, I'm just gonna keep making stuff for Yu-Gi-Oh and making stuff for trading card game people. I mean, basically, that's my focus in terms of like making content and stuff like that. But yeah, man, I really appreciate you having me and on the stream.
Appreciate it, man. Again, thanks for sharing your wealth of knowledge with my fan base. I'm sure some of you guys got some really good ideas, if not all of you, honestly, because anime and Yu-Gi-Oh, it's all pretty close together. So, well, all right, guys, that's all we got for this time, and I'll see you guys on the next one.